So currently the situation in this room, you're in this sort of like large meeting hall where the back wall where this semicircular table is made out of the like a half of the hull of a ship, so it's got kind of a semicircle to match. And at the center table there is the admiral, who is a Valish gentleman. Currently, he's just sort of like sitting in a relaxed posture, smoking a pipe, and he's got some like similar to Captain Creed, has a sort of X or like Federation naval coat. Standing behind him, kind of leaning up against the chair, there is a Karaite woman with a bunch of sort of beads and feathers and stuff woven into her hair, and luminous yellow-orange eyes. And there is a Drassian man sort of sitting off to the side on the table, feet on it, who also has some sort of more Arnaki type naval regalia, more colorful. And then with the Cardinal's entourage, you have Cardinal Thoreau and the knight clad in the gold gilded armor. And there is a 4 other sort of knights in a kind of like light sort of half plate, similar to the guys that you fought in the catacombs, in dress at the very least. And the Drassian man with the raven and the dreadlocks was who sort of led you guys in. He goes to sort of stand to the side of the Cardinal.
We've lost our captain.
Yeah.
She's speechless.
Yep.
Hey, sorry, Kelsey Cobb, I missed the last minute of that.
Okay. The Cardinal, I think. So the Cardinal has himself the gold gilded knight and a couple more of the Knights of the Golden Rose in sort of like half plate.
Okay, and then the Admiral had his scurvy crew, right?
The Admiral has a Karaite woman sort of leaning on his chair there, and then there's another Drassian captain who you assume he's also sitting at the table, so he's probably one of the high captains.
Okay.
And the Drassian with the dreadlocks and the raven that sort of saw you in with Captain Creed went
magic user.
Yep. He went to go sort of stand next to the Cardinal.
Traitor.
Is he dressed like a pirate, or is he in a uniform?
He's dressed like a pirate.
Okay. Look at him, he's got a fucking pro. A magic user.
The Karaite lady standing behind the Admiral is also a mage.
Okay. Is she wearing like traditional Karaite clothing, or is she wearing
yeah,
Westerner clothing as well?
More Karaite, sort of like tribal dress.
Okay.
So as you guys kind of enter in and take a look around, the Cardinal gives the group of you a sort of withering smile, and the Admiral, who gives you just a friendly smile and says, More potential allies, hmm? Oh, it seems we're quite popular today. Allow me to introduce myself, newcomers. And he kind of leans a little bit forward in his chair, tips his hat, and says, I am Admiral Donovan Kestrel of the Free Isles. And I see you've come in with High Captain Creed. Right here, jerking his thumb back, is my ship's mage, Kyrie. And there's High Captain Freeblood.
Say free blood or tree blood?
Free blood.
Okay.
And he sort of like looks over at the cardinal and says, I get the feeling there is some recognition between the two of you.
Well, I am Captain Tara Najar of the Forget-Me-Not. This is our ship's mate, Robin. And my first mate, Mr. Dibbs.
This guy looks badass.
I said probably during most of this, I just keep staring at the knight in armor.
Okay.
So I didn't realize
dear.
that the Free Isles kept such company. What is this cardinal to you?
The cardinal speaks and says, "Why, I am an honored guest of Free Isle, as I presume you are, Captain Najar. It is interesting to finally meet the merchant's help in person."
Is this the first time you've seen us?
In the flesh.
Did we see him at his little estate?
You saw him with object reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that wasn't his
you actually saw him with object reading on 2 separate occasions.
Right. But
One time
we looked in to his house and saw his family.
That wasn't his house, was it?
No, that wasn't his house.
Oh, that was
Although
the other
it was the
It was a cardinal's house, right? Or it was one of the ecclesiarchy.
yeah. It was a noble family that was associated with the with this order somehow.
Okay. I was thinking wait, didn't I spy on this guy through his fucking window? No, that was totally silly.
No,
Yep.
just through space and time.
Mm-hmm.
The window of space and time.
Well, I must say, Admiral, I'm not impressed with the company you keep. I would not expect to see such people here.
Oh, well, that's interesting to hear from you. I myself am somewhat surprised that we have such esteemed guests. They have come to present with us a proposition, which I was about to hear from them.
Oh, are there chairs available?
Yeah, there are a couple of chairs set kind of up against the wall. And there's the chairs around the side of the table, which you assume are meant for the high captains.
Okay. I'm gonna go take one of those chairs.
One of the high captain chairs.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna walk over, kick it back, and then
Alright.
flop down.
Yeah, so it's a fairly heavy chair, so it kind of screeches across the wood.
Oh, even better.
As
Oh my god, no! I'm gonna take the chair, and I'm gonna drag it all the way to the other side where there's space.
Okay. Yep. So there's a sort of pause as you do that, and the admiral sort of raises an eyebrow. You see the Captain Freeblood, who's sort of reclining back there, just kind of chuckles And the Highmore group just is like stone silent as the whole thing goes about. So the admiral says, after you've sat down, he says, Captain, I am interested as to what your business is here. If you'd like to share it, otherwise you can hear my prior guests out first.
I have an inkling they might be related. You can go ahead,
That's
Cardinal.
so. Well, this day just got a lot more interesting, didn't it? So the cardinal kind of like takes a couple of steps forward, and he addresses you first, Tara, after sort of like giving the other two of you like a long look, and he says, "It is quite curious that we find ourselves here together, isn't it? Quite curious indeed."
You're a little more curious. We certainly fit the type who might be here.
I can't deny that. And he sort of turns to address the admiral and says, well, then, to my proposition, as we were discussing, Admiral, we seek the ruins of an ancient place within your isle. Should you give us the location and bless our efforts to excavate it, we would provide you with the support you need to combat your Arnaki oppressors. Weapons, provisions, even manpower, if the need arises, could be arranged. And as a token of our goodwill, we intend to leave the 2 sloops and brigantine that we accompanied our arrival fleet in Port Freedom. You should have the word of your Captain Bryant that we have made such assurances to her as well. And the Admiral kind of nods and says, well, that is quite a generous offer for the chance to poke around some old stones. I'm very curious as to what business you have with them exactly. To which the Cardinal just kind of smiles and says, it is a matter of the Church of Caius.
Must be
They're
really important.
very important. And he sort of turns and regards you for a long second and says, more important than you could ever know, child.
One of those.
So the Admiral says, well then, what's the catch to this deal of yours? Begging your pardon, Cardinal, but I don't exactly believe in deals that are this apparently easy to make. Wouldn't be here if I did. And the Cardinal says, there is but one simple caveat to my proposal, and that is quite simple, and one that I think that you should easily be able to oblige. All that we require is that we have exclusive rights to investigate this ruin upon your land. For as long as you hold dominion. So the Admiral kind of like nods and says, and this deal of providing us with supplies, would that also last an indefinite amount of time? To which the Colonel says, well, supplies to combat your Anunnaki oppressors, yes. I assume there will be a point at which you no longer need them. And the Admiral responds, kind of nods once thoughtfully. The sort of the carrot woman behind him, his ship's mage, kind of writes something on a chalk slate and sort of like shows it to him, and he looks at it for a second and nods and says, well, very, very interesting. This is a incredibly generous offer. We must, of course, converse with the Admiralty Board before we make any final decisions. Until then, you remain our honored guests. And the Cardinal sort of nods and says, much obliged.
Can I try to get a read on, like, how political the Admiral's being? Like, is he actually kind of pleased that they're here? And, like, our honored guests, like, how genuine is he being?
Yeah, give me a notice roll.
Oh, God. Oh, go D4, go! Without penalties, I got a 7.
Okay, so you have seen your fair share of like brown nosing officers in the Federation Navy. Just, you know, like sort of doing that kind of like, oh yes, prostrate at your feet sort of thing. This is definitely not that. There's definitely more of a degree of like mockingness in his tone.
Okay.
That gives you the feeling he's not incredibly sold by all the like, you know, fancy titles and stuff.
Okay.
He seems to be amused at the formality of the sort of Cardinal's delivery, that more than anything.
Okay.
So the Cardinal Thoreau kind of like turns and says, now that our business is settled for the time being, I would be very interested to talk with you, Captain. Tell me, how is your employer doing?
Did he just end with "How is your employer doing"?
Yep.
Okay, I had to throw on a sweater. And that's the Cardinal talking to me.
Yep.
Oh, he's doing quite well. Down one were-shark coven in the area, so that's nice.
Oh.
How's your little church doing?
Oh.
Are they still sad about the break-in? Heard about
There
that. Too
has
bad.
been much discussion about such things, yes. They will be quite interested to know of this encounter. But, of course, I would not besmirch the hospitality of our good admiral by making anything of it at this moment. You rest assured. And he just sort of gives you this, like, slightly patronizing smile. No,
Anywhere else, Cardinal. Anywhere else.
The knight who's sort of standing behind him kind of like shuffles around restlessly. So the cardinal sort of turns to address the admiral and you kind of jointly and says, as I said, now that our business is concluded, I would be very interested to see what Captain Najar has come to talk to you about. It would be quite courteous of her to extend an equal invitation of audience.
He mentioned
As have I.
he mentioned Dio's name directly, right?
He said
the merchant.
Said the merchant.
Yeah.
Which is Dio's title, more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's called him that we've run into
Yeah.
that know him.
Okay. Well, it seems I was right. We're pretty much here for the same reason. Yeah, well, I'm not much of a politician or deal maker here, Admiral. We want the same fucking thing. But, well, we can't offer an entire city's worth of backing, I guess. I'll let you know that. But what I will say is that whatever he's offering is a viper, snake in the grass. You would trade one oppressor for another, and he'd sell you out in an instant. He doesn't belong here. He's not like you. We are. And we can still offer something. Can we assume that I brought the pertinent mail?
Yeah, that would be logical since you're going to use that.
Okay. In fact,
When you
just to show that we are genuine in our interests, we've already been doing some work for you. We hit an Arnaki mail courier galley about, 3 weeks back now? 4 weeks?
thereabouts 3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks back, we hit an Imperial mail galley going into Bahrain. Now, pull out a few letters. Namely, the one about the fleet heading this way. The fleet heading this way. I'll keep the one back. I probably didn't bring the one about the hollow studies and the subjects because, like, why the fuck would I bring that?
Yeah, that's not really pertinent to
In
these
fact,
guys. as
I
far
think
as
I
know.
gave that to Dio, so I don't think I even have that anymore.
I know you showed it to him at the very least.
What would I brought? I kept the debt one to myself. I'll keep that. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give him the one about the fleet movements.
All right.
That particular galley is in your harbor right now, with about 70 or so freed slaves on it too.
Well, so he kind of like pulls the letter across the table and examines it, and then passes it over to Captain Treeblood over to his left, and his ship's mage kind of like looks over his shoulder reading it as well. He says, "Well, this is very well prepared. Captain Creed, they came in with a galley," and he sort of Captain Creed nods and says, yep, she's telling the truth. We conversed. Her galley is full of the slaves, she said, all free. The Admiral says, well, that is a commendable display of initiative, Captain Najar. And you want the same thing as our Cardinal. Interesting.
Well, kind of.
I'm sure for different reasons.
Oh, I'm sure.
Out of character, Dio didn't actually want to like start excavating it that we know of, right? He's just putting information on it.
He just wanted you guys to look in there and like look around and grab stuff that you thought looked useful. It's more of a tomb raid than a tomb excavate.
Right.
Yeah. So the Admiral says, well, very interesting turn of events. Seems our ancient ruins are all of a sudden quite hotly contested, eh? Very well. We have heard both of your offers, and as I said to the Cardinal, we will have to discuss amongst the captains what course of action we may take. Oh, also, sorry, I forgot in the moment, but Tara, you want to give me a persuasion roll for your spiel?
Yeah. Oh God. I don't
Yeah,
really. Yeah, I guess. I use those for spells. I got a 5.
5? Okay.
Derp. My D4.
Yeah, so Admiral says, we will wait until the Admiralty Board convenes and comes to an official decision. Until then, Cardinal, you may wait in the quarters that we provided you. And he just kind of waves his hand in like a dismiss. Captain Najar and company, we of course extend the same hospitality to you, but we have to go about our usual vetting procedures before then. So you can remain here for a moment.
Alright.
And,
What is your vetting procedure?
It's fairly simple, but it's something that we've had to do to avoid any unwanted agents infiltrating our midst. So and you see he kind of like looks back at the Cardinal again, as if waiting for him to leave, and the Cardinal kind of like does a little like sort of half bow and says, very well, Admiral, we await your response with bated breath. And kind of looks to the three of you and says, until we meet again. And then kind of...
I'll stick my tongue out.
Was that the guy we robbed?
Well, I mean, you robbed his cathedral.
Yeah, okay.
He's the cardinal at the cathedral. You know, this is the order of guys who you stole the ashes of their saints and then like sold them to some random sorcerer.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, dude, you have their fucking relic spear.
Oh yeah,
tip
you
in
just
your-
have that.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
So actually, while this whole conversation has been going on, do you? I assume you have that like openly, like carried, Mr. Dibs.
In my sheath, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the two of the knights that are like sort of standing behind the cardinal, like one of them, like quite obviously sees that and kind of like nudges his companion, and they look like they're pretty much ready to just like step up there and like kill you for it. But a third one, a third one of them kind of like grabs their shoulder and like pulls them back and kind of like elbows them a little bit, just like, we're not doing it right now.
Do I notice that whole exchange?
Oh yeah, they're like staring daggers at you the entire conversation.
So yeah, I'd be like, you're free to try another time, boys. Until then, she's mine.
As they sort of like turn to leave, the Drassian with the raven that's with them kind of like steps up a little bit and addresses the three of you. He says, "Before we go, I am curious. I assume that you killed my comrades."
Do I recognize this dude?
Oh yeah, you would recognize him. It's Blackmane. Because I'm pretty sure you post cogs.
Which one?
I think you post cogs something to see him at one point.
Is this the guy you sent a bird to?
Yep.
Okay. And Fiza was a comrade.
Yep.
And then the
Next
other.
so,
Oh,
McLagan.
he's one of
I tried
an
to.
armiger.
He's one of the three, yeah.
Yep, I tried to save McFlanagan.
Oh, yeah.
And
Alright.
if you want to answer, Captain, go ahead. Otherwise,
The one. Tried to save him. Merchant wasn't having that. Surprised to see you dealing with mage hunters.
He kind of gives a cold smile, which, just like in this brief conversation, his whole like demeanor is very different to Fiza's and McLagan's, they were very much like your sort of standard, like, criminal captain type thing.
mm-hmm.
He's like very cold and calculating. And his like this piercing blue eyes definitely help instill that appearance. But he just kind of like smiles and says, "They have some things that I want, and they need me." I'm just it's interesting that you spared one. Which one was it?
I'll give you one guess who had their head about them.
McLagan's dead then.
We tried.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He would rather die a captain than serve on a ship under someone else.
And he kind of looks at you guys again as he goes to leave and says, "If I were you, I wouldn't try and clash with us again, but something tells me you're not going to take my advice."
We're not one for free advice.
Until then. Kind of
Toodles!
like gives you a sort of half-hearted salute and follows out after the knights.
Man, I was hoping we'd be best friends.
Yeah, he's got birds too.
Not yet.
So, meanwhile,
Before he leaves, I'm saying, oh, hey, how'd you make those necklaces?
he just ignores you and walks out.
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Bye.
Rude.
Yeah,
you
so-
don't need to be a jerk.
Yeah.
Or maybe there is.
Yeah, so the meanwhile the Free Isle people were just sort of, like observing that whole interaction with curiosity. And once the the cardinal and his retinue are fully departed from the room, the admiral says, "Well, I don't know what to say. That is, well, this whole situation is quite interesting."
That's us. We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't.
Yes, it seems that you walk in influential circles, Captain.
We fall in influential circles.
Drunkenly stumble into influential circles.
Well said. Now, between you and me, I thought that your sales pitch was a little bit more convincing than his, but the problem we have, well, before we talk about that, there is the vetting process we have to do, isn't there? Isn't going to be much of a decision if you turn out to be an Anaki spy, eh?
Well, if that dick could make it through, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Very well. And he kind of gestures to Kyrie behind him, who kind of walks around the table and says, "No, the process is a magical scan of sorts, carried about by Kyrie here. We only have to do it to one of you. Captain would be preferable."
If you don't want to, I'll do
Can
it.
you describe the scan?
Mind reading type thing. I don't know. I'm not a mage.
Yeah, read mine. It's an open book.
Would I be able to learn anything about this magic if I were to do it?
You're saying this is out of character? You're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't make you like be able to cast it, of course, but like, the experience is something at the very least.
I'll step forward and say, I can do it and carry it.
The Kyrie like smiles at you. And he says, "Oh, well, very well. If anything, I think the fact that you employ a Karaite mage on your ship indicates that you are fairly trustworthy, but
My propensity for child labor
Knows
is
no bounds.
very good.
Does
I employ many native children for a variety of very dangerous tasks.
Does Kestrel have an aura?
He does not.
Okay.
Neither does the other captain, Freeblood, who's not really said anything this entire time. Seems to just be enjoying the show. So Kyrie kind of walks up to you, Robin, and writes on the slate she has sort of carried in her hand, and then like sort of flips it around to face you. And it says in the Karaite script, it says, "I am Kerjahat Kyrie Rohari. Nice to meet you. Please do not resist."
I'll respond in carry something congenial.
Something.
Nice to meet you too. I am here.
Are you gonna give your whole like sort of sect and pact spiel to her?
If I feel that's pertinent for this, yeah.
That's her what she gave to you. Her like full thing is the first part is the Kerjahat is your thing, and then the Rahari, that's pact.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So she sort of smiles and nods, and then pulls a small like hand mirror out of her pocket, and sort of like holds it in her hand and looks into the mirror for a second, and then at you, and
Take 30 damage.
yep, and her eyes become lasers.
Damn. That's a cool move.
So, yeah, Robin and Tara, if you're watching this, you see the sort of like tendrils of magic sort of bleeding off of the mirror into her eyes, and then sort of projecting onto Robin briefly. And you feel sort of like a tug in your mind, Robin, of just sort of like a presence that lightly scans over your sort of surface thoughts. And it's sort of it's specifically probing for like information about the Arnaki and like your relationship to them, basically. Whether or not you or anyone on your crew has dealt with them.
Right.
The entire
we
process.
dealt with them.
I mean, yeah, you dealt with them. You dealt with them in a very different way than what they're looking for.
Iron and blood.
We dealt with them, but good.
Hey.
So the entire process takes like maybe 8 seconds total, and it's just kind of like a weird sort of brain tingly feeling. But then it recedes, and she sort of slips the mirror back in her pocket and smiles at you again, and then kind of looks back to the Admiral and gives like a sort of a series of like hand gestures to him. And he kind of nods and says, well, according to Kyrie, that you are free and clear from any Arnaki conspiracies. So, then allow me to officially welcome you to the good city of Freeport. No, sorry, Grey Harbor.
Where am I?
What day is it?
Oh, good. He's senile.
Oh, thank you. I assume you'll talk to the Admiralty then?
Yes. So, here's the problem we have, Captain. And he kind of like glances down at the letter you gave again and says, I believe you when you say the Cardinal is a viper. That sort of man is not the kind that have gotten where they are purely out of piousness and good hard work.
Nor are either of those things really that great anyways.
Indeed.
Eh?
I mean, I doubt that either of us got where we are that way either.
I am very devout.
The problem that I face is, especially with this news, kind of like taps the letter,
Yep.
we could very much use their gifts, whether or not they come with snakes in the bottom of the barrel. Something that we have to deal with on the regular anyways.
How about a different proposition?
Oh, well, I'm willing to hear it.
our employer doesn't care to have exclusive rights to this holy site of whatever it is. What if it takes you guys a little bit to deliberate, long enough for us to kind of go poke around, and then we can leave, and then they can have it.
Interesting proposition. I suppose he kind of thinks about it and says, well, I don't think that I would be fulfilling the spirit of their deal
Oh,
if
God,
I
definitely not.
were
No.
to choose that. And, I am sadly a man of great honor. But
It's a shame.
there are many skullduggerous types in the city of Grey Harbor. And were something to catch your ear about this site from one of the good people in my city, really wouldn't be much that I could do about it.
Right.
And of course, the Cardinal does not have my permission to begin anything, nor will he have the location until all of the High Captains are in port to talk about it, which, we are busy people out sailing around, procuring goods. It can take some time for us to all be here together, so the Cardinal might find himself here for at least a week. How does that sound to...
I look at Tara.
Sounds.
I'm I'm not one particularly fond of long, grueling expeditions. So, something quick and, well, like you said, the rumors fly about such things, don't they?
They do indeed.